eyes.
Oh,
The kids had to haul me back home in a wagon. I couldn't see.
wow, that was
7:30.
Yeah, it is past 7:30 now. We can start the meeting.
Okay, we can start the meeting. Okay, I see lots of people here today. Welcome everybody to the West Side Computer Club. It's part of the Chicago Computer Society. Hi Terry, Terry's waving at me. And I'd like to, oh, we've still got one more to let in here. Tom's coming in.
Hi, Vicki.
So our meeting tonight will start out with our open forum, which Ed tried to get us into earlier.
Let's just repeat his question. Let's repeat his question.
Ed likes to come in, ask his question, then he's going off to have some ice cream and dessert, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to have our open forum, and then we'll go into our presentation tonight, which will be by Lee Lannert, who's going to talk about a smart home. Not a dumb home like most of us own, but a smart home. So we'll be excited to hear from Lee about a smart home tonight. We can now, does anyone have any announcements they need to make? Any CCS announcements, anything that needs to be done? No? All right, does everybody here, I need to see, well, I don't have everybody's video, so I can't tell. Does everybody here know about the Chicago Computer Society YouTube page?
Yes.
Does anybody not know? I need to see it. Ah, we got a couple of hands up that don't know. All right. I will post in the chat a link to the Computer Society's branded YouTube page, which is where you can go to see, I'm going to do this right now, where you can go to see our past meetings that we've had. So that is like tonight. Ooh, speaking of which, I should do a quick recording. I'm going to set this up to record. Record on this computer.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so everyone knows this meeting is being recorded.
Got it.
Told us.
Okay, let me post this link here. There's the link to our YouTube page. So we have, I don't even remember how many we have up there. I got to go take a quick check how many videos we have. I think we have over 20 videos on the YouTube site. They're set up in playlists format, so you can so the playlist lets you sort them by the clubs. That is, all the west sides are sorted together, the northwest, the south suburban, and the Linux, as well as tips and tricks SIG. So if you miss something, or you missed a meeting and you want to catch up on us, or you just really like to see my face, I know it. Feel free to go and peruse the YouTube site. It took a lot of work to get these up there for everybody, so I would suggest that you subscribe. The link is over in the chat, so take a few moments to go take a look at that. And I do ask, and honestly, nobody has done it yet, and I've been asking this for months already. I do ask that you watch one video from beginning to end if you could. And you could do it fast forward, I don't care. But if you could just put down in the comments, in the YouTube, there's a comments section. If you put in the comments what the topics were in that YouTube video, I'll be able to put the metadata into those videos, because many of them were ones that Jerry had, were ones that Jerry had recorded. And I have not taken the time to go back through and rewatch any of these videos that are out there to see what they are about, so I could put it a footer what the topics were. So if you find one that has no topic listed, just watch it and put in the comments on there about what it was about. That is, if you go to a West Side one, and we're talking about, let's say, Macrium Reflect or something in there, please put that in the comments. This is what it was, and this is where it started, or where it was. Whatever the presentation was 15-minute mark or something like that. And then I can put it into the comments so people, or put it up there in the metadata. And Stan is showing me his fingers and his keyboard. That's really nice, Stan. Okay, all right.
I'm just playing with this while you're talking.
I can see that you are playing and having fun. So that is something I would ask that you do. If you could go watch one video and put some comments in there, then I can update it. Okay? Anyone else? Oh, did anyone have any questions in regards to the YouTube page? All right, good. Do we have any questions out there in the group besides Ed's?
Like I was saying, we should repeat Ed's question.
Okay, let's repeat Ed's question since the whole group is here now. Ed had asked if there was any disadvantage to hiding your SSID on your Wi-Fi network. That is, you have a name on your Wi-Fi network. It could be Ed's Wi-Fi network. And Ed is saying, if I hide it, is there a disadvantage to doing that? And the general consensus was so far, generally no, but Ed came forward and said, yes, there is. He asked us this question just to slip us up, just to trick us out, just because he knew we wouldn't all know the answer. And he said, according to Apple, on their iPhones, it tells you they're not as secure. So hiding, and I think the consensus was, Bob even kind of clarified, hiding your SSID, that is your Wi-Fi network's name, is not necessarily giving you any security. I filled in a little blank on there saying that all it does is make it so the person who walks in front of your house, drives by in front of your house, or a stranger that comes near your house or apartment or wherever your Wi-Fi is at, they won't see that you exist. Doesn't mean they can't break in. It just means they won't see you there. So it's going to make it a little harder for them to find it. But somebody with good equipment, that's not a barrier to them. Okay? Anyone else want to add into that subject question? No. Okay. Ed, I think you have a burning number 2. What's your burning number 2?
I have a burning number 2, and I have a comment about something I learned because I replaced my router. The question for the second question is, so let's say you have a 48-character password. How do you figure how many possibilities are if you have upper and lower case and numbers in each one of those characters?
You mean, how do you determine how strong that password is?
Yes.
Or how many permutations how long it would take for somebody to crack it?
Yes.
I think that's a question you would ask the internet.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe somebody might know.
Anyone?
Any good password manager will tell you, and there are sites where you can test.
You always ask the scarecrow.
There are places on, yeah, you can. There are places on the internet where you can plug in your password, and it will tell you how long it would take to crack it using various technologies.
Okay, cool.
Let me ask, why would somebody want a 48-character or 42-character password? That's a pretty long one to remember.
I do.
Actually, 32, 48-character passwords are becoming the norm.
Okay.
Because cracking is getting much more effective.
Now, mind you, Ed, and the rest of us, the way I see this is the security that you're throwing in is only at your local level of your house. That is, somebody outside trying to get into your network, meaning outside your house. Let's be specific here. It's not on the internet, them trying to come into your house. That's not going to do anything with that. It is only for them driving down the street, sitting on your front stoop and trying to get into your network. That's what you're blocking, right? Am I wrong? Am I right here? Please set me correct.
You're also blocking things that come in from the internet, and we have to be especially aware of that now, given the world situation.
So Bob, are you saying if you were trying to hack into Ed's router from home, you're trying to get to his computer, you would have to know that Wi-Fi password?
It's part of the layers of security you have to get through. And so if a state actor is trying to do it, or someone with foreign state support, they have ways of getting through it where it doesn't matter what your password is. It doesn't matter what security you've got. But you might survive a little better if you have better security.
Okay. But that being said, does it help anybody else?
Well, of course, casual snooping is discouraged. The longer the password, the more discouraged they'll be.
Okay.
And brute force attacks, of course.
I guess I interpret it as that long password is going to just, somebody comes over to your house and says, you know, they want to get on your internet, and they'll say, give me your password. You got to sit there and give them a dissertation. It's going to take 42 characters to do this. And it's going to be A, upper, lower, 6, 7, you know, all these different.
Well, Sanford, that is why we set up a guest network so that people can log in and they don't even need a password.
That's right. I like your point. Anyone else want to comment on using a long password?
I have one statement for you, and that is use something other than letters and numbers, upper and lower case. You should be using special characters also.
Okay.
What if you just use special characters?
Well, they'll catch that too.
Okay.
Use everything. And when you're using things like words, you know, like in and out and up and down, something like that, change the O's to zeros, you know, things like that.
Well, that's a good point.
You know,
Go ahead.
Those may not be dictionary words, but they're still in the databases that are used for brute force attacks. They're toward the top of the list.
Right.
well, don't do it on all of them. Okay, I'm just saying, you know, if you have a handful of words that you're trying to use and, you know, twist things around, in some cases have the O as a zero, and in other cases don't use it, you know, in the same password. So it's not obvious, it's not used all the time that way, but you have it. And when you're, you know, if you're typing a phrase of some type, like in, out, at some location, don't type in AT, type in an at sign. You know, something like that, you know, where it means something to you if you're trying to memorize it, you know, so you can have something that you'll understand if you have to memorize the 42 character long password. But you'll have special characters, you have upper and lower case, you'll have numeric, you'll have, you know, everything. But it will be hard to understand if you're just looking at the crazy characters, the crazy password.
Well, there's another possibility, and that is to use a password manager that contains a random password generator.
Yeah.
And that way, even though you don't know all the passwords, you know your master password. So you can get into your password manager and it handles the rest of remembering. And those are quite secure. At least some of them, potentially.
Ed, you said you bought a new router?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. What I did was I upgraded my long, thin Comcast router to more of a cube shape that's about 10, 12 inches high.
Okay.
But when I was setting it up, and when I have phone calls with my phone, I tie in through my hearing aids. I think we had talked one time about them, how good they are, and from Costco. And I have through Bluetooth on my phone. When I was doing it, I was having some problems, and the tech person I was talking to suggested going to the speakerphone and not using my hearing aids and disabling I was picking up with no problem at all the 2.4 gigahertz signal, but not the 5. And what he said was the Bluetooth operates pretty close to the 5, something I didn't know. Does anybody else know that?
Bluetooth is between 4 and 5 gigahertz, so it will, in fact, get more interference from the 5 gigahertz band than from the 2.4.
Right. Okay. So, which made sense. And once I disabled my hearing aids, as in turned off the Bluetooth feature of using my hearing aids with my phone, then I was able to connect up to the 5 without any problem.
Okay. Bluetooth, well, according to the internet, Bluetooth is on 2.45 gigahertz.
Okay, then that's closer to 2.4.
Right.
Yes.
I didn't have any trouble at all connecting with 2.4. I only had trouble
frequently,
connecting with 5.
Right. Now, this is according to Mr. Google, so.
Yeah, probably right. But 5 gigahertz, you see, the problem is you might, with Bluetooth, be generating some harmonics. It might not be a pure broadcast. It should be, but it might not be. It depends on how good your Bluetooth is.
So Sanford, at one point in time, Rick was going to do a presentation on Bluetooth. Did that ever happen?
You'll have to ask him.
No. Did that ever happen? I could have missed it.
No.
Okay.
And when he said he was going to do that, that was a long time ago. You have a better memory than he does.
Well, it was of interest to me. That's why I've been looking for it.
And he never did the presentation, and he kind of faded away. And I did get him to come back for one meeting. I can't seem to get him to come back on a regular basis. I don't know why, but he never did the presentation.
Oh, I guess I do have one other question.
Yes, one other question.
I was on when he did come, and he presented us and talked about his cube that he got from Infinity, not Xfinity, wireless character, Verizon. He talked about paying $25 a month for Verizon. Does anybody know if you get one of those, can you plug in your phone to it? Like, can you use the phone like you can use with Comcast?
Isn't that a Wi-Fi enabled device?
Yes.
So it's
5G, wasn't it?
It's basically
Yeah,
your
it's 5G.
It's your gateway modem.
I understand. What I'm saying is my modem that I have through Comcast has a telephone port on it. And that's where my number is now, instead of like before it was always through AT&T. But once I switched to Comcast, my home phone number that I've had for 42 years that I've lived here, the only thing that's changed is the area code several times, even though I'm in the same place. Like we used to have 708 and now we have 630. So I would like to cut the cable, if you would. My cable, and I don't just have basic cable and maybe a few things on it, but no Netflix or anything like that, and it's up to $189 a month.
So if you cut the cable, what do you get
The phone port
cable?
on Comcast is supposedly 5G enabled.
Right. And I get 5G on
I
my
guess,
from Comcast.
Ed, where's the question? You're
The
saying,
question is, can you use one of those boxes that gets can you still have a phone line connect up to it? Or is it just for the internet?
oh, you're saying, is there hardline phone line coming out of it?
Not a hardwire. The box I have that has a cable that goes out to Comcast cable coming in, coaxial cable, allows me the ability to use my home phone and have a voicemail on it. And is there a feature on one of these Verizon boxes that would do the same thing?
I would think that's all internet based, so it should be irrespective of what kind of hardware.
I would think that it's all Wi-Fi, that it comes in at 5G to the device, and then the 5G either hooks up or rebroadcasts it at 2.4 and 5, like a cable modem, like a Wi-Fi, like a router would. That's the way
Right.
I see it. However, anyone know? Does anyone here have it?
Offhand, there's a real bit of confusion. Wi-Fi 5G is at 5 gigahertz. Phone 5G is 2.5 gigahertz. It has basically for the phone, a 4G, 5G, the 6G that's coming up. That's all the generation. So they've gone through 5 generations. They're going into 6. But Wi-Fi, on the other hand, is really 5 gigahertz, unless you've got Wi-Fi 6, which includes 5 gigahertz frequencies and 6 gigahertz frequencies, and they're already working on Wi-Fi 7.
So let me ask the question a different way. Is there a way to have like something like a cell phone that has a connection to it that you can plug in to the hardwired phones in your home?
You mean like Ethernet?
Well,
Ed, did you try asking Verizon?
No, I haven't. I just thought you guys would know.
Well, offhand, are you
Wouldn't they
talking?
be the people to ask?
Are you talking
Yeah, they
about?
would be.
Are you talking about an Ethernet type hookup?
No, all I want to do is keep all the phones I have in my house.
The physical hardwired phone system that you have in your house, the old.
Oh,
Wait, Tom Soltis knows the answer. Yes, Tom. Tom, we can't hear you.
You're on mute.
Tom, you're muted. There you go.
I don't know, like your old type of phone, you had it with AT&T. So
Right.
then you had to call Comcast to have your number
Port it over.
moved to that system.
Right.
I would think if that Verizon thing has a port on it for an old type of phone, it would need to be changed again from Comcast to Verizon.
right.
Oh, I agree. I was just asking the question if anybody knew that it had it. But short of that, if you had just a regular phone, if you will, or a cell phone, or a box that acted like a cell phone, could you plug your home phone into that system so that all the phones in your house would ring? I have 14 phones in my house, which may seem like a lot,
No.
but I
You
have
think?
I have 2 base units. One has 4 phones and one that has 5 phones. And then I have 5 additional hardwired phones.
Well, I've got a
I have
system
a
for
hardwired phone in my garage. I have a hardwired phone in my basement. I have a hardwired phone on my second floor, and I have 2 2 hardwire phones in at either extreme of my main house.
Well, the
I don't know if this
hard-
helps, but
the
I've got an
hardware-
OOMA system that I plug in my phones from all the house, and I plug in the Ethernet, and it basically is in my internet phone, and it rings all the phones in the houses, and it comes through the internet.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm looking for. So what's it called?
OOMA, OOMA.
OOMA. Thank you.
And you'll learn more about that when you stay for the presentation about a smart home.
I am posting something to chat.
And I also add on that OOMA, you can get a Bluetooth dongle, so it will also ring your cell phones.
Oh, great.
The
And you're
device
doing
you
the
need.
presentation?
No, that's not in the presentation because that's not that. I didn't think that is a part of the smart system. I've had that way before smart came out.
I don't know. Ed, how many what do I want to say, spam phone calls do you get in a day? From people trying to sell you windows and new roofs and send your money to Jamaica?
I don't know. I don't answer them.
Yeah.
That's OMMA, right?
OOMA.
OOMA. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That would be replacing your Comcast if you do that, because you're just changing from one to the other.
Yeah, you'd be ported
The
over. to that
Comcast is
system.
already providing you a phone service. All you need to do is plug one wire of your phone network into that, and it should connect everything to that one port, and you still got the use of all the phones you got in the house.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just trying to see if there's a way to cut down, like maybe use YouTube TV to get service. And, it was advertised on the Super Bowl, so maybe somebody thought it was worth spending a fair amount of money for it.
So, Ed, you're trying to
UMA is
cut the
probably
cord?
cheaper than UMA is probably one of the cheapest ones out there. You buy the original package, but their service charges are practically nothing. And as far as I know, there's no limit on the number of phones you can have on their box.
Okay. And technically, I only have like 5 and 2. I have 7 phones, but then because the wireless phones are the extra phones, if you will.
It doesn't care.
Right. Exactly.
Really?
Okay, so I've posted things about what you need to know about the 5G fixed wireless that is coming, and what you could use as a device to hook up your home phone. I believe it's through internet, but it might be a hotspot.
Great. Thank you, Will.
You'll have to look at that Verizon thing about that. Yeah, it just says it's a wireless home phone.
Okay, cool.
So what does it get? What kind of speeds do you get off of this?
This one is a
Okay.
4G LTE.
Okay, that's a 4G, but
Yeah.
that's when they call. I'm sorry, I'm referring to the Verizon's 5G.
Oh, as it has been currently implemented, it is disappointingly slow. I know of one person from another group who sometimes shows up here in our groups, and she has one of these. She had on a free trial on a trial basis one of these Verizon 5G fixed wireless modems, and she found it to be slower by far than the present wired internet services.
Okay, but that's we don't actually have a number associated with this.
She suggested numbers that were really bad, but that's in her particular part of Washington State. I don't know how it is in Chicago. Chicago may have a completely different arrangement of 5G.
Okay.
As long as you don't live near the airport, you should be able to get 5G. Now, in the Boston area, we have a 5G service called Starry, which is done on a building by building basis. And that is fast. That's gigahertz fast.
Okay, so according to the internet, Verizon expands 5G home internet mobility, experience max download speeds up to 1 gigabit, and but it typically is about 300 megabits.
Yeah, that's about right. But that's about what I get now. I get 300, 400 megabits.
Right. It depends. You know, I don't know what you're paying, Ed.
Yeah, I'm paying.
I don't know what you're paying. What kind of
I'm paying
speed?
$189 for
No.
TV,
I didn't mean
phone,
the
and for internet.
I don't mean the dollar amount. I meant for the speed. I don't know what kind of speed you're paying for.
Oh, I'm getting about 700.
Wow, that's pretty fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's nice.
Well, I'm sure it's nice, but do you need to spend that much money on that fast speed?
Yeah, I think I could go less. I'm just doing a speed test now.
So this goes back to kind of the question is, we're circling around, how much speed does a person need at home? Now, and we know this is a jaded question. It's a tough one to answer. Everyone's situation is unique and different. However, let's put some baselines here. If you're, and feel free to fill in the blanks, anybody. If you're only doing surfing the web, watching occasional some videos, but let's say surfing the web and doing emails. How much speed do you need just for those kind of things? Surfing the web and doing emails. We're not talking about streaming.
25 is plenty.
25 is plenty. More than enough.
If you got
25 megabits.
if you've got 4 or 5 items on it, or like your iPads and computers, and if you count them up and you got a half a dozen things on it, and all you're doing is surfing the net and you're using it for email, 25 you'll never see the difference in anything.
Thank you, Harry. You just put it right there in the head. All right, so now let's talk about streaming. You like to watch YouTube videos, you like to watch Netflix, you have 2 people in the house that like to stream, since there's a lot of us have a spouse. What kind of speed do you need?
You'd be surprised how much you can do with 25.
You can still do it. You could do it with 25. You could do it less than 100 megabits. Will still get that job done without a hiccup.
The only time you'll see a difference is if you go to download a movie or something that's pretty good size file, or you're going to download some huge file somewhere. That maybe take you 10 minutes instead of taking 1 minute. And if that makes a difference, well, you need to cut out that cup of coffee.
4K stream.
There you go. But I was saying streaming. Streaming is different than downloading.
Yeah.
Because you don't stream is usually send it as you need it. So again, 100 megabits is going to be plenty for 2 people, and more than plenty for 2 people.
Even at 4K, it's still more than enough.
Okay, even at 4K. Thank you, Harry. I appreciate you filling in that blank there. So when you're paying for, Ed, you're paying for 700.
I'm paying for 500. I'm getting 700.
Okay, you're paying for 500. And you're paying for 500. Do you need the 500 in this scenario that we're laying out here?
That's
I don't
down.
know. I'm
What's
gonna
up?
look at my bill right now.
For his 500 down, what's he going up?
Yeah, upload
Probably
speed.
More like 10 or 12, probably.
And
Comcast isn't very generous on the uploads.
Yes, they are not.
I'm getting, by the way, I'm getting like 23 point something, almost 24 on the upload.
What are you paying for?
83
I'm
bucks.
looking it up. Don't know. The problem is they hide it as part of other packages.
So I guess we kind of answered it. You really, having even gigabit in your house, unless you're somebody like Lee Lannert.
I don't have gigabit.
Well,
No, I've got the super fast internet is what they call it, for $99 a month. But I'm getting a $99 discount, so I don't know. It's hard to tell.
We'll put
It's $99 a month and you're getting a $99 discount, so it's free?
I have an Xfinity plan. It's $199.
Oh, 100.
Okay. Yeah, but the monthly charges, well, the monthly charges are 178, but then you got taxes that drive it up to 189. But anyway, so the plan is $100. It says my Xfinity services are 199, with 70 for the TV, includes limited basic sports, family entertainment, Streamplex, HD programming, and 20 hours of DVR service. And then Internet Superfast, it says $99, and Xfinity Voice, $30. So it's $199 with the $99 discount. So cost me $100 for that.
Now, another thing, putting it in perspective, is T-Mobile is just coming out, and I think other carriers have it, where you can buy a device and totally have the your internet, not your streaming, Bluetooth. I mean, Netflix and stuff like that, going through the 5G hub box that they sell. So that's not even a wired connection; that's totally over the air. So for them to do that, they can't. You can't be needing that much download or speed wise. Otherwise, their network would be totally overtaxed.
Right.
Yeah, you're not really using a whole lot of bandwidth unless you're doing something truly interactive.
Yeah.
The only times I take 120 frame per second videos of, like, when my grandson is wrestling, and for each match is a little bit over maybe 2 minutes. And so I get, they're fairly big. When I upload them, it takes a little bit of time, but it's usually going through the cloud, and then they get a link through the cloud to do it.
Well, that's because upload speed is slower than download speed.
I understand.
Okay. All right. Any other last questions or comments on this subject? None. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Somebody else have another question? Sharon, do you have a question? I was hoping Sharon would ask us a question today. There you are.
No, I don't have a question. Thank
Oh,
you.
come on. We haven't heard from you in so long.
I'm just hearing what you all have. I don't have any landline. So I don't know what speed my internet is.
You know what? That's not the question.
I'm waiting for the smart home part.
Sharon, that's not a really question about what we're asking. I just want to know if you had any questions for the group on anything that might be troubling you on computers tonight.
No, thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, who has the next question of the evening?
Well, I've got a question, but I don't know where it fits in this. The computer I have will not accept Windows 11, and I'm looking around to see what would be the proper replacements for what I've got, and I don't know exactly what I should be getting. I'm planning to get something, not the top of the line name brand, but something that's got some good power in it.
What? Just because you can't get on Windows 11, you feel you need to get a new box?
Not at this time, but I plan to be looking around for the future.
Okay. Now, is this going to be a PC or is it going to be a laptop or something else?
It'll probably be a laptop.
Okay, that hones it in better. What is your ability to shop? Are you like a Costco Sam's member, or are you not?
I'm not.
Okay, because I throw those out because if you were, those would be places you could go and start looking to get something that's going to give you more bang for your buck because of their buying power. So we'll take that out of the equation. Anyone want to comment? I think Tom, maybe we need to know what is it you're going to be doing on this laptop. This, what's going to be taxing? What are you going to utilize this for?
Well, just the general environment. I don't use the PC for a lot of anything, mostly daily fun.
Daily
In
fun.
Zoom.
Yeah, for Zoom, for working on a PC, for watching movies, for,
Okay.
writing stuff up. I won't need Windows 11, but, in 3 or 4 years when they throw away Windows 10 completely, I don't want to be the anchor that gets the chain cut.
Okay.
You've got a long time to wait. Things are changing. Windows 11 requirements are changing. Chips are now very scarce and very expensive.
That I know.
Computers are difficult to find and very expensive. You're going to get a very distorted view. If you wait just 2 more years, supply chain can change a lot.
A lot.
And that could really change the landscape of what you can afford and what you might think you need. Do you have a working laptop now?
I'm on it right now.
Then you're good for 4 years.
Then I won't move. I'm just looking around I didn't plan to move at least for 2 years because they're working great. I've got a laptop and a desktop.
They
All
won't
right,
cut the anchor.
This is a good exercise that Tom is basically proposing. And the exercise would be, what kind of equipment should he look for? Sanford would say what? Maybe a Core i5? Anyone else want to say something?
I look at the current system requirements of Windows 11. It is pretty specific, and it has a lot of it has some very specific requirements that right now not every computer has. Not even every Windows 11 computer has all the requirements. And this could be an interesting problem in the future.
Is cores and processing speed a consideration on 11?
Yeah, if you're in any of the currently available models, really not much. It isn't much more resource intensive than Windows 10, but it requires some security things to go on, which do tax the system hardware a little bit. So you might have to upgrade from the current expectations, but that'll happen automatically because you'll have a higher number of generations of Intel or AMD than you've got now. And you'll have the TPM2 because anything sold today is going to have that. And you'll have at least 4 cores, probably 8 hyperthreads, which is vast overkill for Windows 11. You'll probably have 16 gig of RAM, maybe only 8. 8 gig is a little thin for Windows 11. Yeah. 16 gig is much more comfortable.
So,
Tom,
hold on. Tom, you're writing this stuff down, right?
I'm listening because I'm listening to it right now because I have been doing some research, and you guys are hitting on pretty much what I've already thought would be the right thing for the future. Okay. I don't plan to buy for years.
All right. Well, for years, if you're looking like 2 years down the road, the whole environment will adjust as technology advances. So we can only suggest what we see is here today and what we understand is going on. Don't know, what's going to happen. To further Bob's point, you want something like an NVMe SSD hard drive or a solid state drive, an NVMe size no less than 250 gigs, no less. Preferably 500 would be your minimum.
500, yeah.
That would be your minimum. I'd say 250 is your, if you're really on a tight budget. But I would, 500 would be the minimum. By the time you're ready to buy, the minimum will become a terabyte. So that's what you'll go with.
Let me interrupt you with right there. What I was looking at and planning, and no, not buying today, probably not, like you say, not for 4 years. But what I was looking at was the number of core processors or processors within the core would probably be in the 4 to 8 level. The size of terabyte would probably be 2, and SSD was what I was thinking. The biggest problem I had was they're talking about processors, and I have no idea what they're talking about. They're throwing, a definition by number, and I have no idea what these speeds are and what, if they gave you the speeds and compared them with numbers, I'd probably figure them out pretty quick.
So a quad core, what is going to be a Core i5?
Yeah,
Quad core, well, that would be 4.
That's Core i5. I
That's
think
4,
it's got
yeah.
4 cores. A Core i7 has got 8.
It's got 8. Okay.
and the 9s are coming out, so I don't know for sure.
9s?
They're running 8 or 16.
Those are running. I don't remember what Core i9. I think those are 16.
I think they are too.
16 with 30, and they can run 32 threads.
Right.
So that's where your speed really comes in on the number of threads that they can handle on those.
You can go to ThreadZipper by AMD.
Yeah, right. And AMD is also, if you
Yep.
go by thread count, absolutely go with AMD. In all the cases, AMD is going to save you, hundreds off of the price of the unit.
And the new stuff is more than competitive.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but this will all change in a couple of years. I think, Tom, you're in the right direction. This is good discussion.
Yeah.
I think also something that you have to consider is, and you're not even talking about it, how big or how small of a laptop you want. Meaning, dimensionally, do you want a 17-inch, or do you want a 14-inch, or do you want a 13-inch? A smaller and smaller. Or like I currently have is a 15, and I think that's a sweet spot for me. But maybe you're a different person. Do you need? I think that's important here. Is how big and heavy do you want it to be?
Well,
You
the
want
other
to-
question,
Do you want like the keyboard or
Sanford,
not? Sorry, go ahead.
the other question is, how big does he need it when he uses it? Because right now he might be sitting at his desk with a monitor plugged in, so he's basically using it as a CPU, and everything else is peripheral. And when he has to take it on the road, then it's a size that he wants in terms of screen size and weight.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this something you walk around the house with? So you leave it in one location. Do you travel with it?
Well, I have to say that the 15 would probably be the size, and I'm going to end up taking it as one that I don't travel with because of my medical condition of epilepsy. I don't travel much. Okay, and as you were saying, it will pretty much be used as, it's one and only, because the 15 is pretty much 15-inch monitor will be pretty much just fine, but I do have about a 19-inch monitor hooked up to my desktop, so I could easily plug it in to that monitor and just use it like these guys are saying as its base computer, and just plug it into the larger monitor if I wanted to.
Here's a point though. Your current monitor plugs into your PC.
It plugs into the PC,
Laptop.
yes.
Does it
But that's-
plug in via a VGA port or a DIMM port or USB
Uh,
or HDMI?
well,
Oh,
okay, I could plug it into a USB port. It is not right now into the USB port, but it's got the attachment spot for it.
Okay, that's good. Then you can be able to use it with the next generation laptop that you buy. But if it only had a VGA, an older style VGA one, the old 9 pins, That will not work on your new laptops that you're getting because they don't come with that port on there.
Well,
You can get an adapter.
I do have the adapter already for it.
Yes.
So I could do that also. I had the adapter, if only the VGA was there. I could plug the VGA and into the back of the monitor, and the other end is a USB connector. So I could use either of the ports, but I would just use the USB that's available on the back of the monitor.
Sure.
In 2 years, it's going to be USB-C for everything.
It probably will be. By then, USB-C is going to be the thing.
Not for displays. Displays are going over to DisplayPort 2.
Oh, okay.
Now you lost me there. DisplayPort 2, I don't understand.
It's an advance over DisplayPort, which is a special port that is used and it can handle 4K. DisplayPort 2 can handle 8K video.
How big is it compared to DisplayPort 1?
I believe it's actually physically a smaller port.
I would think so. For laptops, it's going to have to be.
They're making the ports physically smaller and smaller, but they carry more and more data.
Yeah.
And a lot of the way they can do that is because of the internal bus being more complicated.
Hey, well, I can tell you it's got USB ports and 2 HDMI ports on the back of it.
Sweet. That's a keeper.
Oh, yeah. But that's why I'm looking at the laptops right now. Not that I'm going to buy it right now, but I'm trying to get a handle on what would be there in the future, what I should be looking for in the future. Be prepared, the old Boy Scout.
Well, as we've been telling you, the future
Changes everything.
more than about 2 years out, the future hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, too dynamic to follow.
That I understand. You know, being an IT professional, I understand what you're saying. When I first started in the field of computers, I do remember back when the wires went through on the computers, you could see the memory system, and it looked like little donuts with wires going through.
Oh, Tom, you and me. Bump.
I remember that.
They're return.
That was my,
Go ahead.
I was just saying that I just added that was my vintage. Same thing.
Yeah, and now the folks at MIT are returning to magnetic core, and it's a super modern magnetic core, very fast, and it's going to get small. Lots of memory in a small space.
Yeah, well, I was working in college with the original virtual machine from IBM, the Model 67. So I go way back, and I even figured out how to have lousy typist, and I figured out how to get the punch cards, instead of retyping the whole thing, how I could slip it in there and have it automatically retype something until I could fix the thing I typed wrong.
Well, you want to see how small things are getting.
Oh,
Let me do a
God.
little switch here. That's my CPU. It fits in my hand.
A nuke.
A nook.
Yeah.
Tom, there's your next computer.
Oh, yeah.
It's sitting there on Bob's desk because he'll sell it to you. Because when he gets done with it,
Oh, yeah.
he's going to move up to the next thing, and you could have it.
But just
I'll
wait.
move up to about 12th or 14th gen, and he can have my 10th gen.
There
Well,
you
the
go.
next Raspberry Pi might be fully compatible with Windows.
You never know.
True.
Boy,
That's
that'd be
true. You can already do full Linux on Raspberry Pi,
Oh yeah.
and I mean
Yeah.
full Linux, not the stripped down kind.
And that's about half the size as your nuke.
Yeah, it's half the size of the Nook. It's the kind of thing you'd put into an embedded system, or
Okay.
use it right on the back of your TV.
Yeah.
This one's not quite light enough to do that.
Well, and you guys were talking about the size of memory, using the SSD 1 terabyte. Well, let's see. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right there. That's 1 terabyte SSD.
Yeah.
Is that external?
Oh yes, that's why I got it in my hand right there.
Yeah.
Well, if you break it open, it's an SSD card.
Yeah.
Well,
You
yeah,
tell me-
it's just, you can't open it, but yes, that's what it is inside.
You got to be careful with those external SSDs though, because they don't pass the trim command.
The trim command.
The
What's
trim
that?
command it's for optimizing, and they do
Oh,
not
yeah.
for garbage collection and optimizing, and they do not pass the trim command. Most of them. My enclosure does, but I had to buy a different enclosure from the one I originally started with because the old one didn't pass the trim command, and I'm running an operating system off of that.
Oh,
So it needs to trim. But I do have one from StarTech that does pass the trim command.
Okay.
Through,
We
Anyway.
need to get moving on this one. Anything else,
Yeah.
Tom, you need to know?
no, that was it. I just was wondering how I could tell the difference between between the basic design of these computer systems, because you look out there and there's so many different names and numbers, and I'm just trying to figure out what they're selling. I'm not buying it right now, but I was trying to figure out the different, you've got so many different computers. You've got Intel, you've got AMDs, you've got all this kind of stuff, and they have all their different numbers, and I'm trying to figure out, well, gee, it's an XYZ. Well, what does that mean? And I'm trying to figure out what the different speeds are and what's valid with Windows 11, and I'm not buying it today or next week or next month. I won't buy it for a few years, and sure, they'll all be different by then.
It'll be different, and I think you're looking too far down the road to worry your pretty little head about, because it's all going to be different in 2 years. And what it will be, none of us really know, because we're not on that end of the design of what specifications, what's to come. So, it's a good exercise of what you're doing, but don't put too much brain power in it.
Yeah, and by the time you,
What I would say would help you is hone in on something like, let's say, hone in on Intel's line. Figure out which Intel chips or processor speeds or number of cores or whatever that you like or you think is going to work, and then use Mr. Google to see what the AMD equivalent is. Instead of trying to figure out the two different ones, just look at one and then search to see what's compatible with it on the other manufacturer's line. Now, you could swap what I'm saying. You could research the AMDs, find which ones you like, and then go, okay, what is it equivalent to on the Intel side? And then that will tell you, because they make them very similar to each other. They just have different names and different ways of approaching the problem. Okay?
Now, there is one thing happening. There is one thing happening that could really upend stuff. And that's what Apple is doing with the M1 processor, which is ARM. And it's RISC. And it's incredibly fast with graphics. Incredibly efficient and low energy consumption with graphics. And the trouble is, its processing power, in order to get up to where the Intel and AMD chips are, you need a lot of cores. But the cores are really, really cheap to manufacture with the M1 architecture. This could influence what our PCs for Windows are going to be like.
and on top of all that, your supply chain is going to have a great impact in terms of what we see.
Oh, yeah.
I already covered that.
Yeah. But on the road, it's still going to be here for well over a year plus, this issue.
Yes, it will.
So, okay, that was a good question.
Thank you.
Next question, new direction. Aldo, do you have a question for us? No, you're muted, just so you know, Aldo.
No, not now.
Okay, all right. And Stan has one. He wants to ask us about what?
About television.
Yes.
And running televisions in your house off a computer. My son-in-law has a computer that he kind of dedicates just to doing that. And he's got one of these ridiculously large screens, biggest one that I know of. And he downloads movies and stuff from some service that he subscribes to. But now I'm interested in, he wants to be able to put his downloads or do multiple downloads to different televisions all over his house. It's just weird.
Okay, so.
But he's having trouble with reliability, you know? And I don't know what's wrong with it. You'd have to talk to him in a way.
Anyone want to address this?
Well, I mean, is he trying to set up like a server, like a Plex server on one machine, and then all the other TVs through being smart, or having a smart device can play from his Plex server?
He evidently has one computer set up and then able to reach various locations in the house.
Is that via the internet, through the Wi-Fi, or is it through
I don't know how he does. It's not wired, I know that, but it likely is Wi-Fi.
So these are multiple TVs being driven from a single central source,
Yeah,
which is a PC.
yeah.
Yeah. Best thing to do there is to set up some kind of a media server, and it needs to be able to allocate its bandwidth, which it can put out, among the various TVs according to their demand.
Well, I think that's what he does. He's got one like a laptop, a little bit larger laptop, and he seems to have all of that stuff coming out of that. But yet he can operate it from any of the rooms that he's in, you know?
Yes, you can do remote control if you use a server, a media server, like Plex or Kodi.
Well, I don't know what he's using, but whatever it is, sometimes it's perfect and other times he has trouble with it and he doesn't know why, so.
Well,
Well, Stan, go ahead, Lee.
if he's trying to run too many TVs off the one device, that it might be his bandwidth.
There you go. All right.
Well, that's a possibility.
Stan, I ask you this question. How
Yeah.
come your son is not in this meeting?
Yeah.
He actually
He
is.
has a question. He should be either next to you or he's zoomed
Yeah.
right on in. Feel free to send him a link at the next meeting and he
Yeah.
can ask our group and we could talk to him
Well,
and answer.
he right now is on a Zoom. My wife is also on a Zoom, and I'm with you guys.
Okay.
Okay. I can tell
We
you
have
one thing,
3
Stan.
simultaneously running right now.
Yeah. I can tell you one thing, Stan. You've got plenty of bandwidth in your network. If you three are all doing this,
There
Yeah.
you go.
you have plenty of bandwidth in your network. What I would say, this is actually a really good case for using a media server that is based on Linux, because Linux is
we're not gonna
lean,
do
it
that.
runs fast, and it doesn't put a lot of load on the resources of the host computer.
And I'm running it
And-
off a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, but if you run it off of a full-size computer, Linux becomes more powerful, and it becomes much more efficient than Windows, and you get fewer glitches.
Well, my
So
Raspberry
code-
Pi, I'm running off Linux, full
Yeah.
Linux, and it's capable of streaming just fine at 4K.
Yeah, but to how many TVs simultaneously with how many different streams simultaneously?
Well, it's only a couple at that point.
Yeah, because here we've got like maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, and it all depends on the computer, right?
So next one, Stan, your son needs to chime in on our meeting, and then we could be able to talk about how he's implementing it, and he can tell us what he's doing, and then maybe we can give him some better feedback.
I'll just tell him about it. I doubt if he'll do that, but we'll see.
We always need new members.
Yeah, we do. Members who pay dues.
Yeah, members who pay dues. We need lots of members who pay dues.
Yeah, Stan, it could be the size of his memory amount too. The buffers, he wouldn't have enough, and that would make it so he couldn't be sending to that many computers.
Well, he's only got the one computer that handles the televisions.
Well, yeah, so he
Doesn't
might,
do anything but that.
But
You know
is
what
it
kind of computer
handling-
that is?
What you don't know, Stan, is it handling one TV or is it handling multiple PCs?
Well, it depends on if you turn it on or not.
Well,
but what
Yeah,
I was saying, if he's trying to get to 3 or 4 TVs, fine. But the thing is, if he's doing 3 or 4 at the same time, there may not be enough buffer ability in the computer to get the 3 or 4 smoothly because it can't refill the buffer for each of them.
Or bandwidth.
Well, he usually he's got, I think, 4 or 5 computers running. And one of them is in the movie room, and that sort of handles that stupid big TV. But everything else is laptops or they're like Facebook kind of things, you know.
Another thing with streaming, if you are hosting several different TVs off of one PC, you need to manage the memory cache. It's not just buffering, but caching. And that's what makes for less lag and less delay in the signal and less breakup of the signal.
Okay.
another thing that Lee kind of touched on it, if he's running something like Plex does some encoding on the fly. As it gets ready, you have the raw file and you're going to send it off to another TV or another output device. It's going to encode it to downgrade it or manipulate it to send it. And it can only handle, Plex is limited by the processing power of the machine that it's on and how much graphic capabilities it has, because it really uses the graphic card a lot. And if you don't have a good graphic card dedicated for Plex, it's going to slow it down or hamper it quite a bit. Something like a NVIDIA Shield, which has 256 cores of graphic, that can handle Plex just fine. So that's just the thought as an option. Instead of using a PC, he could use a NVIDIA Shield or NVIDIA TV, I think is what they're calling it now. You could use that as your Plex server and send that off to the TVs, and it'll work dynamite. So
I'm running several Plex servers depending on the resolution. I've got one for 4K, one for 1080, and then one for 720. So that way, it's unlikely that more than one device is going to be.
And we're going to learn more about that soon. So any last questions from the group on any other topics or subjects? No. Good. All right. I didn't mean to cut you short on your question, Stan.
You're fine. It's perfect.
But I'm hoping next month that your son is zoomed in on our meetings.
Who's presenting next month?
I don't know who's doing next month. While you're talking, I will get into that because it might be Stan's son doing a presentation.
Well, he'll actually be traveling next month, but
You can do that anywhere. We're zooming.
well, I understand, but the last traveling he did, he was stopped by the police. He had a bunch of stuff in the back of the car, all plants to be delivered to the various relatives down in North Carolina. And they stopped him figuring, well, he must have a whole bunch of marijuana or something. They gave him a hard time. I mean, it was not his fault, it was some police person that decided that, oh, he didn't look just right, But
nothing happened, right?
no, nothing happened. He was moving plants, not marijuana plants, other drugs or whatever it was. He was as surprised as anybody, but they would stop him, you know. So it was
That's
like a
okay.
funny experience.
To answer your question, Lee, next month, Aldo is doing a presentation. And Aldo, what is your presentation going to be about?
You asked, I use as a backup for files and folders the program Cobian. And it'll be like a short presentation. I'll read it, one of FYI by Tim. And he listed a whole bunch that are free and good, and Cobian is one of them. So it's a short presentation.
How do you spell that?
C as in cat, Charles, O, B as in boy, I-A-N.
Okay. I got to put this in. C-O-P-I-A-N, Copian.
Cobian, C.
Is it B or P?
It's a C as in Charles, O, B as in boy, I-A-N.
All right, I got that in my to-do. Now I know what we're doing next month, even though I'm way ahead of us. Normally this would be something we'd talk about at the end, but we're going to talk about it now. So, all right, any other last comments on Stan's thing? Nope. I will turn it over to Lee Lannert, who is going to talk about smart homes.
I'll try to be smart about it. How's that?
And now, Lee, you need me to share the screen with you?
I was just going to share it. Can you see it?
Yeah. Yep, we got it. You already got permissions. There you go.
Okay, this will be on a smart home. It's kind of brief and it'll start off somewhat technical, and then I'll ease my way into some examples, and then I'll have an open sort of forum so people can join in and kind of relate to what they have. Okay, is it a smart home or is it a smart home? A smart home allows homeowners to control appliances, thermostats, lights, and other devices remotely using a smartphone or tablet through an internet connection. Smart homes can be set up through wireless or hardwired systems. The smart home technology provides homeowners with convenience and cost savings. Home automations, or domotics as it's also called, is building automation for a home called a smart home or a smart house. A home automation system will monitor and or control home attributes such as lighting, climate, entertainment systems, and appliances. It may also include home security such as access control and alarm systems. When connected to the internet, home devices are an important constituent of the Internet of Things known as IoT. A home automation system typically connects control devices to a central smart home hub, sometimes called a gateway. The user interface for the control of the system uses either wall-mounted terminals, desktop or tablet computers, a mobile phone application, or a web interface that may also be accessible off-site or through the internet. While there are many competing vendors, there are increasing efforts towards open source systems. However, there are issues with the current state of home automation, including a lack of standardized security measures and deprecation of older devices without backwards compatibility. Okay, applications to technologies. Home automation is prevalent in a variety of different realms, including heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, known as HVAC. It is possible to have remote control of all home energy monitors over the internet, incorporating a simple and friendly user interface. Another one is lighting control system, a smart network that incorporates communication between various lighting system inputs and outputs using one or more central computing devices. There's the occupancy aware control system. It is possible to sense the occupancy of a home using smart meters and environmental sensors like CO2 sensors, carbon dioxide sensors, which can be integrated into building automation system to trigger automatic responses for energy efficiency and building comfort applications. Application control and integration is with the smart grid and a smart meter, taking advantage, for instance, of solar panel output in the middle of the day to run washing machines. There's home robots and a security, which a household security system integrated with a home automation system can provide additional services such as remote surveillance of security cameras over the internet, or access control and central locking of all perimeter doors and windows. There's also leak detection, smoke, and carbon monoxide detectors that can be part of the smart home. Home automation, also for the elderly and disabled, is another one. Pet and baby care, for example, tracking the pets and babies' movements and controlling pet access rights is another one. Air control, inside or outside, for example, air quality ag is used by people at a home to monitor the air quality and pollution level in the city, and they create the map of the pollution. There's the smart kitchen with refrigerator inventory, pre-made cooking programs, cooking surveillance, and et cetera. And then lastly, but not only, I'm sure, there's voice control devices like Alexa, Amazon Alexa, and Google Home used to control home appliances or systems, which we're probably more familiar with. Is it a smart home or smart home? Continue. The difference between smart devices versus smart systems. Before we get into our list, it's important to define our terms. A smart system is the overreaching command center that controls your individual products. Think Alexa or Google Assistant. Essentially, a smart system is what you speak to when you want something to happen. A device, on the other hand, is an individual product that reports back to the system. Think Amazon Echo or Philips Hue light bulbs. Now let's dive into a list of our best home devices and systems of 2021, so you can decide for yourself which systems and products will best enhance your life. Best smart home systems. When looking to purchase a smart home system, you want to look into reviews and its integrations. While the reviews will show you how good or bad the technology is, the integration information will show you how many products you can actually connect to your system. As you're researching integrations, you should also consider any smart devices you already have that might be compatible or incompatible with the system. Today, most good smart systems are powered by state-of-the-art technology and offer a long list of third-party integration possibilities. For example, Amazon's Alexa and Google Assistant connect to smart thermostats like Nest or Ecobee, not just thermostats made by their own companies. If your devices all connect well together, work well, and are easy to use, your smart home experiences will run much more smoothly. Okay, which smart home system is best? Here are 4 major smart home systems. The first one is going to be the Amazon Alexa. With more than hundreds of millions of compatible devices, Alexa is undoubtedly one of the most comprehensive smart home ecosystems available today. While you've likely heard of using Alexa in EcoSpeaker form, Alexa, what's the weather today? You might not know that Alexa is now built into plenty of other smart products, including thermostats and TVs. You'll have to excuse me. Alexa is responding to every time I bring up her name, so you might hear her in the background. Okay, Alexa makes every aspect of your smart home easy to access and control. You can use Alexa to speak to apps like Spotify just as easily as you can ask her to turn off the lights. Since Amazon's ecosystem is one of the most prevalent in the industry, most smart products integrate seamlessly with Alexa, including products made by Philips, Samsung, Nest, and Slodge. Alexa can now close your garage, lock your doors, and adjust your home's temperature. To know if Alexa will work with certain device, just look for the Works with Alexa tag, Amazon Alexa tag. Ultimately, Alexa's ability to integrate and speak to most other devices and apps makes her one of the best choices for your smart home. Okay, the second one is the Google Assistant. If there's any true runner-up to Alexa, it's Google Assistant. Even though Google Assistant has less third-party integrations, it can often answer questions and complete commands Alexa can't, thanks to Google's major ownerships of the search engine space. Google Assistant has the accuracy score of 92.9%, while Amazon Alexa scores at 79.8%, as verified by ZNet. Ultimately, Assistant wins when it comes to understanding how people naturally speak. For instance, if you the assistant, I don't like the song on Spotify, it will skip to the next one, while Alexa will simply tell you thumbs up or thumbs down are not supported on Spotify. Small differences like this could sway you towards Google since it's often more helpful and less literal than Alexa. Assistant can also integrate with products from most major brands, including Philips, Belkin, August, Nest, and other popular apps such as Spotify and Uber. The third one is called Wink Hub. Wink Hub is touted as the first smart home hub designed for the mainstream consumer. Unlike Alexa or Assistant, Wink does not have any brand loyalty, allowing you to pick and choose different smart product brands and merge them seamlessly with one another. Wink Hub 2 supports smart home protocols including Bluetooth, LE, Kitty, Lutron, Clear Connect, Wi-Fi, Z-Wave, and more. If you're looking to create a fully integrated smart home with kitchen and wall appliances in sync, this might be your best bet option. You can also download the Wink Hub app and control commands like light switches or garage door from your phone on the go. And fourth and lastly, the Samsung SmartThings Hub. The Samsung unit system unites a wide variety of smart devices from different brands, including smart thermostats, Wi-Fi router, light bulbs, and security devices. Users with the smart system can get SmartThings Hub with wall mount and get full access to smart devices connected to the hub through the SmartThings iOS or Android app. Samsung SmartThings Hub has been growing its own smart device offerings for the past few years. In fact, the Hub's product lineup includes the addition of the SmartThing Wi-Fi plug, the SmartThing light bulb, and the SmartThings cam. Through the SmartThings Hub, you can also set the compatibility of smart devices to do various actions like turning on or off when you walk in or out of a room. While you can give voice commands to the SmartThings wall or hub or app, you can also integrate an Amazon Alexa or Google Assistants to the system. Okay, briefly some of the devices. The first one, robot vacuums or floor cleaners. Manufacturers such as iRobot, Shark, Ecovacs, Bissell, Nido, Wise, Roborock, Eufy, iLife, Nebot, and Procenic. There's smart air purifiers made by Dyson, Era, Conway, IKEA, Sharp, SmartMy, AirDog, and LG. There's even lawnmowers. Some manufacturers Works, Gardena, Robomo, Gardena again, and Husqvarna. And there's cameras, some for pets, but a lot for general use. And those manufacturers are Furbo, PetCube, obviously the pet ones, Eufy, WiseCam, SimCam, and Arlo. Lights is very popular for devices. They're manufactured by several, some of which are Wise, Singled, Yeelight, Ring, Philips, TP-Link, and TreatLife. There's a thermostats devices, manufacturers like Ecobee, Nest, Amazon, Wise, Honeywell, Sensi, and Bosch. There's the smart displays, which a lot of people are familiar with, some of which are like the Amazon Echo Show, the Google Nest Hub, and the Facebook Portal. Then there's the famous doorbell cameras now, manufacturers such as Arlo, Eufy, Google Nest, and the most popular one being Ring, owned by Amazon. The smart door locks are popular now with August, Ulog, Kwikset, Wise, Era, Eufy, Lockley, Remote Life, and Simply Safe as some of the manufacturers. The smart security is another one. Manufacturers ADT, Vivint, Simply Safe, Ring, Wise, Adobe, Blue by ADT, Cove, FrontPoint, and Brinks. And now there's speakers such as Sonos, the Amazon, Google, and the Apple speaker devices. Then there's the switches and plugs, which control your sockets as well as your switches. And their manufacturers are typically Belco, which is the Wemo brand, Wise, Amazon, TP-Link, Lutron with their cassette line, the Leviton, Sachi, iHome, ConnectSense, Kugek, Pure Gear, Eufy, GE, Jasco, Noon, Brilliant, Tantan, Casa, and Legrand. And there's more after that. I just didn't find them all. And then now there's faucets, smart faucets. Some of the manufacturers are Moen and Delta, Moen and Delta, excuse me. And there's pet feeders for your simplicity there. Manufacturers are PetSafe, Furbo, Surfeed, PetCube, ARF, PetKit, PetMate, Petsy, and Wags. Sounds it's definitely animal sounding names. And going a little further, there's smart sprinklers made by Orbit, Retio, Rainbird, Rain Machine, and Wise. And then finally, there's the robots now, and one particular one is Amazon Astro. So at this point, actually I thought let's play this little clip. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Let's see if we can run it. I thought it was cute. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Although bandwidth will be an issue. Lee, what are we seeing here? Because we're not getting any audio. Oh, finally get some audio.
Okay, I thought that was kind of cute. It's only $1,000, by the way. So if you run it, somebody deliver your beer, that's a bad price. What do you think, huh?
Hey, Lee.
Yeah.
I don't know about everybody else, but it was a real choppy video with no audio.
Oh, you missed the audio. I'm sorry.
So just when you get done, send us the link and we can watch it separately.
I'll send you the presentation. That everything's embedded on hyperlinks on each word.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to give some examples of what I've got. Right now, I've got the Lutron light system that controls the kitchen cans, the pendants, and undercounter lighting, including the in-cabinet lighting as well, which is part of the IKEA. I've got a Delta faucet, which can control the temperature. I can ask Alexa to dispense a certain amount of volume for water at a certain temperature. I've got a ceiling fan that completely I can control through Alexa, both the ceiling fan speeds, the occasion which it runs, and the lighting of that as well. I've got several light switches and socket controls that control my lights, the Christmas lights, the outdoor lights. Matter of fact, I haven't turned my outdoor lights on or off for probably over 15 years. I've got a garage door opener, which will notify me of open and closure, and it's been helpful for remote opening when we had people come over and had to get access to the inside. We could just, they could text or call us, and then we can open the garage door to let them in, and we can close it when it leaves, and can confirm that. Got a refrigerator, which will basically notify you when the door is left open. And then we've got a Sonos audio system through several speakers, and that can be controlled with Alexa as well. So at that, I was going to try to incorporate some of the people and some ideas. How many people have smart home devices in their home? That's Sanford. Oh,
Don't tell me I'm the only one. Nobody else here has an Amazon Alexa?
Me?
Okay, Vicky does. Who's got at least maybe a Roomba?
yeah, I've got a Wise vacuum cleaner. Yeah, I forgot to put that down.
I have a Roomba.
Okay, see, Sharon's got one. So that's 4 of us so far.
Okay, so
Anyone have any smart Wi-Fi enabled light bulbs? Costco was selling the Felt F-I-E-L-T
it's FEIT.
light bulbs that are smart Wi-Fi enabled. Boom.
And they
No?
change colors too
And they
on
change
command.
colors too. The Philips lighting got some of that. You guys don't spend money here in this group, do you?
I've got the X10 system I've had for 40 years.
There you go. And see, now that's a statement right there. How many years?
40.
40
Oh,
years.
you got that. Yeah, I had that for a while and then I upgraded.
And I've got some new stuff. It's BN Link, these little smart plugs that work on Wi-Fi. You
Yeah.
can control them. You can program them. You can control them with your phone to turn them on and off manually, remotely.
Yeah, we've got lights in the house that turn on automatically before.
These turn on and off automatically.
Yeah, and you can program everything with. And if you really want to get technical, what's the IFFF whatever T system can really get technical.
And anyone in this group have a Ring doorbell?
I have Ring and Wise, one for the back, one for the front.
Got a Ring
and a door lock too.
Ooh, yep. My wife wants us to get the Wi-Fi enabled door locks. That's definitely coming down the line.
Yeah, I've got the garage door openers that I can open and close with my phone.
Yeah,
and that's good. I just gave that to my son for Christmas this year as a new garage door opener with that capability. It does not cost much more. Pretty much most of them sold today have it, and I think it was like $20 more to have that on it was a Sears Craftsman to have it on there. And he loves it. He could tell if his garage door is left open, which is the best thing. If you'll know that how many times have we left our house and you push the garage door opener and you pull away and you suddenly you're blocks away and go, did I close that or not?
Yeah.
And that's the reason you would have that device, because he'll send you a notification on your phone, the door has been closed. So then you go and look at your phone and it tells you the door has been closed. Great. Now I don't have to go back to go and double check to see if I left the garage door.
Well, if you're out of town, somebody wants to, or you have some people clean your house, you don't have to give them full access. They text you when they're at the front door and you open the garage door, let them in, they do their job. And then
I like that.
My car lets me know if the window's open.
Yeah, the new cars are getting smarter there too.
And
all right, go ahead, Lee. We cut you off.
Well, I mean, that was basically, I was trying to get feedback in terms of, what people had what, and then if some people had some cons for not to get it and why. Because some people say security and just, trying to allow Alexa or Google Assistant in your house, they're kind of reluctant there. And I wasn't sure whether some people are non-smart home because of that, reason.
If you live in a small space like I do, just 800 square feet, you basically get up from your chair and you can reach almost everything.
That's true.
So with a smart device, you don't need to get up out of your chair.
The only circumstance under which I would not get up to do something like that would be if I had COVID. And then I would have bigger things.
Cams, Lee?
Army?
Are you using any security cams or that kind of stuff?
I have some wise cams, but I don't. I have them just to use them for when I need to in terms of trying to figure out some environments are getting certain things. But no, the security system, I haven't got there yet. The wife's kind of pushing back on that. But yeah, there's quite a few security systems that you can integrate. Wise does it, Simply Safe does it, and I also live 2 blocks from the police station, so that's kind of indirect security system there.
That won't save you one bit, Lee. It still takes them forever.
Well, unfortunately, the police go up and down our street all the time in shifts.
That they do, and you're on that main street that they have to drive up and down. So
yeah, that's discouraged quite a bit, I think. But I would recommend a security system there as well. And they're becoming
go ahead.
They're becoming very affordable too. So
I have the Xfinity security system, and I can turn my security system on and off with my phone from wherever I'm at.
Yeah, and if it goes off, it'll notify you on your phone as well.
Right, immediately.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
The one thing I found to be extremely beneficial of the one smart device that I put in is my Nest thermostat, or any brand of Wi-Fi enabled thermostat. They are the best thing ever. Why? Because you can track when you're traveling, you go out of town, you can turn your temperature up and down, or in the case of the Nest thermostat, it automatically goes into vacation mode. So if you're traveling and it goes into vacation mode, it cools you. In the case of the winter time, it doesn't operate your house at, let's say, 70 degrees. It'll be whatever temperature you put it at, say 63 or something like that, or even 60, whatever it is you put it at, doesn't matter. But with a Wi-Fi enabled device, when you're on your way home and I'm going to be home in an hour or two, I want the place to be nice and cozy. You get on your phone and you change the temperature before you get home, and it prevents you from coming in the house to having a cold house when you walk in the door. That's probably the most beneficial thing. When I had my second property, I had a Wi-Fi enabled thermostat there, and I was always able to log in and take a look and see what the temperature was going on. Is the heating system running, or the air conditioner? Is it running? Is it running properly? As well as, I'm coming out there, I need to warm the place up. I'll be there in a couple hours, and you turn it up and the place can warm up for you. That is probably the best thing to have.
No, the best thing to have.
Okay, Vicki, set me straight.
Doing it on your phone while you're in bed. So when my heat goes down at night to 60 degrees.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be getting up in an hour, all I have to do is go on my phone or say, Alexa, turn up the heat 3 degrees. It'll warm up the house without me having to leave bed.
Yeah, it's the way you do it.
Now, my Ecobee told me that my furnace was broken before, the house was totally chilled out. So if you have a failure, the Nest, the Ecobee, whatever, they'll notify you via your phone that you've got a problem.
There's another Wi-Fi device or smart connected device that I did not see you talk about. And if you're a homeowner, you missed the boat on this one. And this is water and leak detectors. I've yet to put them in my house. My wife has been telling me I need to get these, and I probably will. But having a water detector device that's Wi-Fi enabled is great, because we all know hot water heaters break, clogging it back up, water softeners overflow, refrigerators leak all over the place. Their ice makers do. If you put a water detector that's Wi-Fi enabled near those devices, you will be notified wherever you're at that there's a problem. And like I have the actual physical alarms that look like separate boxes that have little 9-volt batteries in the house. And mine went off about a year ago. My wife and I are sitting there at the dining room table, and she goes, "What's that sound?" And I go, "What sound?" I couldn't hear it. And sure enough, went down to the basement, and the alarm's going off because the something was leaking, water in the furnace room, and the furnace room floor was wet. So it happens. This wasn't even a year ago. It was a few months ago. It was my humidifier. It was leaking off the humidifier that's on my central furnace. So those are very invaluable things. I've got to get a Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and I'll add to that. I do have one, and it was Wi-Fi enabled, and I had the sump pump failed, but the damn battery had gone out and didn't notify me of it. And I've been looking for something that plugs into the wall for water detector, and nothing is plugged in the wall. They're all battery powered.
They don't even have a USB on them, huh?
No, and the device you have, the 9 volt. I didn't hook that up, but I converted that to a plug-in with a 9 volt adapter.
Yeah, that you can do with
But
those.
that is a Wi-Fi, and I was looking more for a Wi-Fi because I've searched all over Amazon everywhere, and they're all battery operated. I'm like, well, why? I mean, granted, if the electricity goes out, but most of the occasions for a leak or whatever failure it is not because of power. It's because of a failure of a device, whether it be a water softener, a water heater, or some pump.
Yep.
Well, you need to attach to your device another device that detects when the battery is dead.
Yeah, right.
And that's got to be Wi-Fi enabled too. Hey, Lee, another device that I have is a Wi-Fi enabled thermostat that goes into my freezer. And it will tell me if my freezer loses power and the meat that's in my freezer starts thawing out, it will send me a notification.
That's built into the refrigerator we have now.
Yeah, have one of those. Mine is an add-on. It goes right in my big box freezer that I have all my venison in. So, it's.
And it's battery operated, so you better make sure the battery.
No, it's a plug-in.
Oh, is it? What do you plug it into?
I plug it into a USB wall wart, and it goes right into an outlet that I have by it.
So the sensor is inside
the sensor there's a wire that goes to the sensor that's inside. The whole thing is actually inside the freezer, and the signal gets out of the freezer. No problem. I can look at it right now and tell what the temperature is in my freezer, which will say it's 0.
Where did you get this?
That was Amazon, of course.
Okay. What's it called? Is it a freezer alarm?
Yeah, it's a T&H sensor. That's Tom ampersand Henry. It doesn't get great reviews, but it got pretty good reviews. One problem is the app does not always convert from centigrade to Fahrenheit. That's just a nuance of it. But it does work. And as I said, it's a T&H. Let's see if it tells me any more about the device. And I could probably tell you more when I get home, but I am not home at the moment. So Vicki, I could send that more to you later on the device itself, okay?
It would be wonderful because I have problems with that.
Yes. And, it's a good thing to have. These are kind of things that you don't think about until you have the problem. And then you're going, oh, I wish I had something to tell me that there was a problem in my freezer or fridge or whatever.
So the device sits inside your freezer, sends the signal out?
Yeah, the whole thing sits in the freezer and it plugs into an outlet. Basically, it's a USB that plugs into my wall.
So there must be a wire going from inside to outside just to plug it in.
Let me see if my wife, I can ask her to see if she can find that and she can send me that link. I continue, Lee.
Okay. Well, and that was pretty much it. What I did here is on the devices, they're all hyperlinks in terms of the various devices in terms of what's listed here. So you can look at what's rated or what's new and upcoming. You basically just click onto it, and I'll pull it up. I don't know if there's anybody who wants to look at any of these right now and talk about it, but any of these topics, we bring it up and you get some more ideas in terms of what they are and what they do.
Are you gonna put that in the chat?
Oh, why don't we put this whole thing in chat?
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that.
Well, can you put your whole file?
Oh, the whole file? Yeah.
Yeah, if the presentation is in a file format, we all can open.
Okay, now let me figure out how to do this.
You find the file.
No, I'm trying to figure out where the chat is.
Probably at the bottom where it says chat.
Oh, there it is. No?
Hey, Vicky.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
What's the
Vicky?
file extension? Can you
Yes.
all open it?
Vicky, if you just go, I'm sorry, I'm over talking everybody. If
Go
you
ahead.
just go to Amazon and Google T&H sensor, it'll come up. T&H is temperature and humidity. That's all it is.
Okay.
So I don't have a brand for you at this moment, unless I could find the app name. Let me see. The app name is Smart Life, is the app. But I would suggest just go and look on Amazon. They got a whole bunch of different kinds there. And I'm sorry, Lee, I talked over you.
No, keep going because I'm trying to get this file posted to chat so people can have a look at it.
Is that a Word file, Lee?
That's I think it's PowerPoint.
Yeah, it looks like PowerPoint.
Yeah, PowerPoint.
Well, let me drag it. No, well, let me drag it. Okay, so how do I? Can you drag and drop it into the chat?
I think you can right-click select.
Yeah, right click.
That's just I was just pulling the location.
When you go in chat, then you go down to the little thing and it'll allow you to search in your file directory.
Or
Okay,
you
this
drag
is
and drop
chat.
it, paste it.
Okay, so can you see this?
In the
got it.
chat, you've got you've got an icon that looks like a piece of paper with a corner folded down.
Oh, there we go. That one. Okay. Your computer. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Now you have to find it.
Well, no, I did. Oh, this is weird. That's not right. So it's OneDrive. Maybe it is OneDrive.
Right-click on the file, get its properties. You'll know where it is.
Well, I've got the link, and I tried to paste it in there, and that's when it started making me want to sign in.
Then it may be on your OneDrive.
Yeah.
I think it is on my OneDrive. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, if it's not on the PC, then you gotta go there.
Yeah, I think there's an option in that Zoom to take it from OneDrive.
Yeah, right here. Oh, I guess I got connected. Okay.
I'm not sure I can open a PowerPoint.
So, you know what? Let me. I'll move it from the OneDrive, or I'll copy it to the local drive.
Yeah, that's probably quickest.
Yeah.
Because that avoids having to show us your login.
Yeah.
If you don't have Office, is there another way to open up PowerPoint?
Most PowerPoint presentations work in LibreOffice under Impress.
There you go. Sorry it took so long.
Vicky, I sent you a chat.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Yeah, my switches and plugs, I use Belk and Wemo and the now the Lutron. Lutrons are pretty expensive, so beware. But they're the most powerful in terms of being able what they can do through Alexa.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it because they do more?
Yeah, you can set dimming levels. There's quite a bit that you can do. And I do have I have some Wise plugs as well as TP-Link too. When it comes to devices, you could get multiple devices if you're going to go through Alexa. But if you're going to want to go through just their app, then you're going to be having a lot of different apps for a lot of different devices.
That's a problem I've run across is all these different devices are all using their own apps. And then you got to remember, okay, which one am I going to view this on or use this with? And you start filling up your phone and you got to switch between them all the time.
Well, but if you all set up everything through Alexa, you can use the Alexa app as the guidance and not have to worry about all the independent apps.
Yep.
And then, in my presentation earlier, the open source, that they've still got to get there better.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you use Alexa with the Sonos speakers?
Yes, some Sonos speakers have Alexa built in.
Oh, okay.
I have a question also.
Sure.
You guys are talking about a Alexa Echo. I've got an Alexa Echo, but it's an antique. It's about the size of a hockey puck. Is that something of?
Oh, mine. I've still got the first Alexa, and she works fine.
Oh, so do I. The big tall one.
Yeah, the big cylindrical one. Yeah,
they work great because it's not the hardware. The software is updated in the cloud, so it keeps up with everything. It doesn't matter what the device is.
Yeah, and those small ones were called the Echo Dot.
Right. That's right.
And they work just as well.
Yep, they do.
Yeah, it's not dependent on your local processing power. Although if you do have more local processing power, it can do more stuff.
Yeah.
Because it can learn more skills.
Yes.
Okay, I have a second question. How do I reprogram the Echo Dot?
To do what?
Just to get it to start again.
You mean it doesn't start in the first place?
Well, basically it was working just fine, and it had some kind of a problem with it. So who was it I talked to? Somebody that was in charge of that product. I told them about the problem I had with it, and they walked me through how to reset the thing, and it flushed it out and didn't reprogram it, didn't reset it.
So all your programmed items in there are gone.
Are gone, yes.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not in the cloud. You can it's automatically reloaded in the app.
But that's pretty much easy. Should be easy to do. Is you just whatever account or PC or device that you're using to manage the Alexa device, you should be able to go in there and set up what you want it to do.
No, once you sign in through the account, it automatically registers and knows what's all there.
Right, right.
Well, this particular device, all you ever did was plug it into the wall and you could talk at it.
Yeah, well, you know what? That was because it may have been pre-programmed when they, if you bought it straight from Amazon. Sometimes they pre-program with all your information in there, so when you plug it in, it knows who it is. But if not, if you reset it, then it's going from nowhere, and you have to go up in settings and register it in your account name.
Yeah, that's probably the way it was. So I don't know what to do with it now.
If you go into your Alexa app, there's probably a sequence that you'd have to look it up in terms of your Alexa app finding that device and then signing it into your account.
The Alexa app.
Yeah.
Where would the Alexa app be, though?
Well, you could do it through your computer. You could do it through your phone.
How would I hook it up to the computer or the phone?
Well, it'll search for it. Well, as you hook it up, you have to go in the instructions, because it's like when anyone gets a new one, there's some steps in terms of the device seeing your Wi-Fi system, logging in your Wi-Fi system, then your app finds a device and it logs it into your account.
Tom, you're not physically connecting it. You're doing it over your Wi-Fi network, and you're like logging into the account, and then that will into your Amazon account, and that will control and modify the device.
Okay, so a wireless connection is getting to it somehow.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all through the cloud. So you're really only doing it through the cloud function.
Okay, well, I'll try doing it again. Thank you. I did put Alexa on my phone, so I'll be able to get to it that way too, I guess.
Well, if you go into your account and it doesn't show it there, then it means it's not registered in your name, and it probably doesn't work because of that. Because your account will show all your devices that are registered in your name.
Oh, okay. So if I look at Amazon Alexa on my phone and it's not there?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you go to in terms of seeing all the accounts there, but it'll tell you what devices you have registered under your account.
Okay. Well, I'll do a little more research. As you could tell, I did a lot of research trying to find a different computer before too, so I'll find it.
Yeah, it's called it should be registered listed under devices. There's a button at the bottom if you've got an iPhone saying devices, and then if you click any one of the Echo and Alexa or whatever devices you have, it'll tell you what you've got registered. Yeah, and if you click on Echo, it lists everything: Fire TVs, Echoes. Yeah.
Okay.
If it's not, then there's probably a procedure you need to go through in terms of starting it all up and setting it up to register your account.
Right. You do need to go into your Amazon account and access it that way. And that's through Amazon.com, and then sign in to your account. You can go to where it says accounts, and you can up at the upper right.
Well, you're going to have to add the device first. So it's going to look for the device, and then it's going to start communicating with it. So the device will then log into your account.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So plug it into the wall and give it power, and then go on to the Amazon Alexa on my phone, and then it would recognize the unknown device to me.
Should, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll try that later. Thank you.
Yeah, I just went into my Amazon account, which I have, and looked at my devices, and I just had to physically look at the devices that were attached to my account. It opened it up. I had to, go through my password again, and it brought up my devices. They showed up right in there, And that's where yours should be. If not, it may not be attached to your account. Like Lee was saying.
Yeah, all right. Well, I can't say the word that starts with A because on my phone it says tap or say that word.
Well, what you want to set up for the Echo device, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the phone is also set up for that.
Okay, so what you need to do is turn your phone off for the short time, I guess.
Well, I can get out of that particular choice.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
I'm out of Alexa in the phone. I turned off that Alexa Echo. I've turned that off.
Right.
On my phone.
Boy, mine's from 2016, and it still runs just great. But my Echo.
Well, yeah, I don't know what happened to mine, why it was choked, but it was running great for a long time, and I hardly used it. It was in the background. Every once in a while, I'd say something. It would talk to me.
How do you know how old it is? How'd you find out?
It was when I was in my Amazon account. It showed me it. Where I looked up and saw my devices, and I clicked on my Amazon Echo. It said when I registered it.
That doesn't show mine. That's interesting.
So there you have it.
Now, are you going through a phone, Sanford, or are you going through your PC?
PC.
Oh, I'd try that then. I think that does it, unless anyone else has any more questions or wants to go dive into some more of these.
Anyone have any other questions for Lee? If not,
you get that Astro and have a friend in the house, and it's better than a dog. You don't have to pick up after it either. It'll bring you a beer. What dogs will bring you a beer?
I like that idea.
Of course, somebody's got to give it. Somebody's got to put it in the Echo.
How did it get the beer? You had to open the refrigerator to get out that beer.
Yeah, obviously the husband who was.
Lee, you want to stop your screen share?
Oh, sure. Let's see. Okay. Oh, here we go. Stop share.
There you go. Now I can see everybody that's here.
Oh, I saw everybody there on a different screen.
And does anybody have any questions? And anyone just driving, they want to go and do this? Boy, this is a tough crowd, Lee.
Yeah, I thought there'd be a lot more participants in terms of users.
Well, we have a few of us that are embracing the technology today.
Yeah, Ed left. I'd be curious to see if he partook in the.
Yeah, Ed always leaves early, so I can't answer that. I don't know what he has going on in his abode.
Well, he can't toys with a lot of stuff, so be curious.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lee.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Was a great presentation, and we really appreciate it.
Oh, you probably wonder what that jet is for, huh? Did I ever tell you that?
No. Oh, behind you, we only see the wings.
I was out visiting my son. I go, do you have a take your parents to work day? and he looked at me. He goes, well, let me see what I can do. He put me in that chase car.
He put you in the chase car.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we looking at? This looks like
it's a U-2. Plane? That's a U-2.
That is a U-2 spy plane.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that from the? I can't tell. Is that from the front or the back?
That's the back. That chase car is following it. Take off to make sure the wheels fall off the wings.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How high up? Those fly where? How high up?
They're almost in outer space. The guy's in a full spacesuit.
Yeah. And how long do they fly for?
Oh, 10 hours, 12 hours.
Wow, that's a long shift.
Yeah, and they're fully equipped to have to deal with their bathroom requirements.
Diapers.
Well, but They might have to go, but how? Maybe more than diapers. I don't know, but
Yeah, they accommodate both, and they have food for the day too. It's all on tubes though.
yeah. Wow.
But they fly up like at 50,000 feet or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. 6 miles up.
Oh.
And they could take a picture down and read a license plate.
Yeah. Well, remember the guy got shot down over Russia years ago.
Yeah, I was in his office, his old office. Gary, I forgot his name.
Gary, yeah.
That was Gary Powers.
Yeah, that's it, Gary
right,
Powers.
Gary Powers.
The idea was we didn't think the Russian surface-to-air missiles could reach that high. We found out otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay, according to Mr. Google, they can fly up to 70,000 feet.
Yeah, they can get up to 8 miles high, but they usually fly about 6 or 7.
Wow,
And Lee-
70,000 feet.
And Lee, you said you were in his office. Did he mind you using his office when he was a prisoner in Russia?
Yeah, no. They have his office there is a memorial to him. And see, they're so far out they can see their Earth curvature because you can see the tip of the wing there.
That's like 13 miles up.
Yeah, it's
Oh, these are pictures from the craft?
yeah.
Holy moly.
See, this is taking a cockpit picture. The Northern Lights in the background.
That's your son?
No, he tests does a test engineering for. They've got three pilots. No, actually, one pilot was driving the chase car. One pilot was in the U2, and then one pilot was on the ground with a test team, and they switch out.
Okay.
Yeah, you said that was 80,000 feet?
Well, they just verified go up to 70,000 feet. So yeah,
That's what
pretty.
Google says 70,000. Now, this is only what they are reporting. We don't know what the real,
Well, yeah.
that picture you're showing there, that's pretty damn high up,
And every time I get asked my son something, he says, the only way you're going to find out is to do Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 13, 14 miles.
Yep. 70,000 is 13 miles up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they said that the SR-71 went up to 127,000,
Holy crap.
Yeah.
but that's what they said. It probably went higher.
Well, I don't know. Surface air missiles, can they make it out 70,000 feet? I don't know.
Okay, Lee, that was a great presentation. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah.
And does anyone have any last closing questions or comments?
Thanks for being here.
Okay, and I'll remind everybody, please go to the YouTube site. And did I post a link to that? Yes, I did. Go to our YouTube site. Please subscribe and give me some feedback on there. I'd really appreciate it. Anything else? If not, reminder, there will not be a tips and tricks this coming Tuesday. And we will see everybody next month.
So when is the activities going to be back at the City Hall?
Good question. There is no definitive answer at this point in time.
Okay, I was just curious.
I think now that they've opened up, are we going to be meeting in person? I think this is something the board is going to have to discuss, and maybe poll the group and ask them, do people really want, do you want to do an in-person, because the Zooms really work. In-persons are fantastic, but the Zoom seems to pull more of us in frequently.
But there's no food.
That is true.
Bert, do you want to chime in on that, Bert? Or Tim, do you guys want to chime in on physical meetings? Bert, I can't hear you.
You're mute, Bert.
Well, my understanding was, this is Stan talking, My understanding was that they would never go back to a rental position because of the cost. Zoom is free. It works. We can see everybody. We can talk to everybody. And I guess now we have recordings of all the meetings. I didn't remember that, actually. But those come in very handy. It's something that, you know, over the years we missed, was because, you know, you'd hear what was going on, you'd take some notes and stuff, and then when you went home, you'd say, well, wait a minute, I didn't get this, you know.
How do you get new people then?
You get new people by inviting them to Zoom.
How many new people have joined since it's going Zoom?
I don't know.
2 at least.
2, okay.
Bert?
We have had a few new people come in, some of them from all over the country. And I know that in-person meetings, unless you can make it hybrid, I wouldn't be able to be there.
Sure. Well, and they should make it hybrid if they can.
We've got about 6 or 8 of us who regularly come in from various parts of the country.
Sure.
Hybrid is
Including
tough.
Aldo. Aldo, where are you from? Where are you at?
Right now I'm in Sun Valley, California.
See, look at that. What a fantastic, we could never beat that. He's probably in 70 degrees weather.
So they moved the Statue of Liberty, huh? I didn't know that.
In California too, and Tony invited me to come in. That's my dad.
Ah. Thank you for coming in from California.
Thank you for having me. It was an interesting presentation. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Please come again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Lee, I'm curious about something you said. Were you guys getting free food at your meetings when you met in person?
Yep.
Yeah, Stan had a great spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, there sometimes was free food.
And coffee, you know.
There sometimes was food on selected occasions.
Donuts.
We would have
Oh,
parties.
We had parties at Christmas where we went a little overboard. But, you know, you guys were pretty generous. It covered all the bills. We had some left over, and all the leftover money went into buying stuff for our Christmas thing, you know.
Yeah.
So,
And then Sanford's meetings with Tips and Tricks always had people chipping in on pizza.
We had pizza. It was co-pay. Everyone chipped in. We bought a pizza every meeting. That was what was designed.
But I had pizza tonight.
Yeah, I had dinner too.
Figure out that virtual food will be okay.
Yeah, just so long as I don't tilt my camera so people see me eating, I should be all right.
Yeah, I think these meetings are probably much better like this because you're saving money for CCS and we're still getting together real well.
So how are you going to spend all that extra money at the end of the year if we don't get together?
Well, the money does go towards some kind of insurance that's required or suggested for organizations like ours.
And if Terry was here, he could be able to answer that directly. Bert probably could elaborate a little equally on that. Bert?
Well, of course, we have an overhead that for any organization, we're a nonprofit organization. And, you know, if you used to have food before, you can certainly eat while we're having the meetings now as well. Just bring your own. As far as the cost of a meeting in person, we had extreme room costs. So if we want to make your dues 10 times what it is, maybe we could meet in rooms again. But that's not the reality of our organization.
Recording stopped.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
That's just it in a nutshell. You know, for